stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.
Hello and welcome to We Are Mighty. What is We Are Mighty? Well, it is a journey, a personal journey, a journey of grief, a journey of life, a journey of enlightenment. This podcast was started after dealing with the loss of my son, Miles, aka Mighty, who you heard on the intro song, and you'll hear again on the outro. Miles was taken from us way too soon at the young age of 24 as a result of gun violence. And in dealing with the loss of my son, I found that I didn't have many creative outlets, many ways to express how I was feeling in a way that, I hate to say it, but in a way that I didn't have to deal with someone trying to relate, trying to empathize, causing them to be uncomfortable as well as myself. And so I started a podcast thinking that sharing my journey would help someone else in their journey. And to my longtime listeners, watchers, viewers, I hope that it's helped you as it has helped me. Believe it or not, sitting here talking to a light and a camera, not knowing who is going to hear it, who's going to see it, it has been a healing journey for me. It's been a way of releasing some of the pain, releasing some of the stress, just releasing some of the feelings that come along with the guilt or the grief, and understanding that maybe nobody will see it this week. But that's okay, because I was able to express how I felt, and I was able to deal with it in my way. So anyway, how have you been? How's the last couple of weeks been treating you? I'm a little tired. A lot going on right now. A lot of triggers, actually, I had to deal with in the last couple of weeks. And I've been thinking of exactly what can I do. So I sing with a local band, and we were invited to to perform at a party. And this party was in the downtown area of our town, and it was a rooftop party. Now, me and downtown rooftops don't get along per se, because my son was killed at a party on a rooftop downtown. And so a lot of times I will turn down things where I am in that position, or where I'm going to be on a rooftop, or I'm going to be, in the area of that building. But I thought about the fact that my esthetician who does my eyebrows, the salon was actually next door to that building. And I went as long as I could, but until what I call my caterpillars came back, I had to suck it up and make an appointment and go and get my eyebrows done, because I'm very loyal to my girl. She's been doing it for years, and I don't trust just anybody with certain things. So I'm thinking to myself, that was next door to the building, but going to this venue, which is down the street, I want to turn it down because it was a rooftop. So I agreed to do it. And it turned out that day that it rained, so the rooftop area was closed and we were inside. Just so happened we were inside the building performing in front of a huge window that looked directly at the building where my son was killed. So when I first got there, did I have a moment? I absolutely did. I stared at the building through that window until someone actually grabbed my arm and said, "Tanya, you got to turn around." Because I didn't have to look that way, but I knew it was back there. And it maybe took me 5 to 10 minutes to deal with it all, process it all, realize that building's there, but that building's not going to go anywhere. And once the show got going, I made it through it. And there's been other venues because our downtown area is kind of thriving, and there's a few venues that have rooftop access, or there's a few nice venues in the area of that building. And there is one place that I have turned down every time I'm invited there. They do karaoke, they do so much. And I did try to go one time, and this was maybe a year after Miles passed away. And when we got right in front of the bar, I said to my husband, I can't remember the last time I was down here at night. And then I remembered the last time I was down there at night. I literally parked in front of that building where the bar is located when I was told that my son was shot, and went to check to make sure everything was okay. So of course I had a moment, and we left, and I've never gone back. My thing is, I feel like I have to learn to live through it, because there's going to be things that you may not expect that are going to be triggers that may be even worse than the things that are the obvious, if that makes sense. I always thought my son's birthday would be a difficult day for me. His birthday isn't really a difficult day. The day that he passed away isn't necessarily a difficult day. The hard day is the day that I buried him. It's weird because you think you know what's going to affect you and what's not going to affect you, but you don't. So what do? Close ourselves off from the rest of the world? Stay home and never leave again? That's not an option. So I'm trying to learn to live through it, to live through those triggers, to live through the moments that may end up being hard for a short period. Dealing with that moment and then moving on. Just a week ago, almost, we had an event at our church that we've had before. It's a basketball game that, we have pastors versus musicians. It's a pretty cool event. Well, this was the third, and there were 2 events prior, and my son played in both those basketball games. And Miles was a pretty good basketball player. And the first game, the musicians won, and the second game, the pastors won. And Miles was on the musicians team. So he would always say to me, Ma, we got to have a tiebreaker. Talk to the pastor. He's got to do a tiebreaker. And, pastor wasn't feeling it, so we never had it. But we had it this year. Like I said, just a week ago. And I enjoyed the game, but I still was having awkward feelings. Like, there was times where I could hear my son yelling at folks, "What are y'all doing? What's going on?" Especially since the musicians did not win the tiebreaker, and I know how upset he would have been. And my pastor was nice enough to do a moment of silence for my son and another prominent musician who passed away, and that their presence would be missed at the game. So that made me feel good. But there would just be plays where I would remember, I know what Miles would have done then. And I know how that play would have went. I know the face he would have made when that shot was blocked. And I had to stop myself a couple times from crying because I just didn't want to do it in that moment. And I think that's part of living through it. Again, it's not that the grief isn't there. It's not that the pain isn't there. It's not that the trigger didn't happen. But it's learning to control how you allow that trigger to affect you. I can't say that you'll be able to do that right now. I don't know where stage you are in your grief, how long it's been. And it doesn't matter, honestly, because it's really your level of control, your level of feeling. Now, I keep going back and forth saying, I'm going to go to that bar one day and do the karaoke night. There was one time when I was ready to go and I got dressed, and before I could leave the house, I was in tears. So I'm still working on it. But I want to get to the point where I can live through that as well, because I know my son. Going back to one of the earlier episodes, you can't allow yourself to die with them. And I don't know that means I allowed myself to die with them. It's just I'm so afraid of the feelings that I'm going to have to deal with going to those places or being near that building at night especially. I know there's been times where I've gone through the downtown area. To be honest, I try my best not to drive through that area, but I've been stopped at the lights sitting right in front of that building and found myself not even realizing I was at a red light because I'm looking up and somebody had to blow their horn to bring me back to where I was. It's scary because you definitely don't want to deal with those feelings again, to deal with the nauseating pain of the loss. But what do? There's events that are going to happen. There's things that I'm invited to, and I feel like I can't continue to just shut down every time something is in that area. Now, of course, if I tell someone, yeah, I can't go there, that's too close to the building. And then I even feel bad because they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, Tanya, I forgot. I'm so sorry that I even brought it up. And I don't want people to feel bad for inviting me to something, an event that they thought I would enjoy because it's in that space. Now, will I go into that building? Probably not. Probably not. I don't know that I have that strength yet. Give me another year and we'll see where we are at that point. I didn't say everything that I could just deal with any and everything, but I feel like as I've been taking baby steps, this may be a step that I need to take to continue to live. Although I know I'm dealing with the grief, but to allow myself the grace to not feel like I'm restricted. Because that's honestly more of what it is. Like, I feel like I'm not supposed to be in the area of that building. I'm not supposed to be downtown. That's where they took my baby from me. Is that really the case? I don't know how to feel about it sometimes. It's again an emotional roller coaster. I can drive past the building sometimes and be fine. Drive past it other times and get choked up. I can talk about the building sometimes and get choked up. So at what point do I just decide, let's live through it? The only way I'm going to know how I really, I guess, feel about the area or feel about being in those spaces is to try it and see what happens. I can always If I walk in, walk back out. Sometimes I think people who deal with grief put too much on their own shoulders. You expect yourself to behave a certain way, especially if it's something related to the loss, such as, my loved one passed away in this area. I shouldn't be there. With the loss of a job, I shouldn't talk to those coworkers anymore because I got let go. What sense does that make, though? Like, seriously, it's not their fault. And if it was a certain person's fault, okay, then don't talk to them. But if these were coworkers that you got along with, why avoid them because you don't have that job anymore? Maybe be embarrassed, I get it. But what does that do? What does that prove for you? What does it prove to have this misguided loyalty, I guess is a good way of saying it, that makes it like, oh, I can't be near this place. I can't be in the area. I can't be caught around the space. Is that healthy? Now, I'm not a medical professional. I don't know. And I can't say, and I'm not trying to force you, hey, you can't just stay away from that person because of, no. As I always say, do what works for you. I just feel like I've missed out on some connections. I've missed out on some interactions that may have been beneficial because I want to stay away from a certain area or a certain place. So I'm just gonna try one day. I'm not just running out and jumping in with both feet, as the saying goes. I'm gonna have to check the temperature, put my toes in the water. I'll probably drive past the events a couple times before I'm actually able to do it. But I just feel like that's a part of the journey, is getting to the space where you can live and not feel guilty. I've been talking about that a lot lately, the guilt. And it's weird that you feel guilty for not allowing yourself to wallow in the pain, not allowing yourself to be depressed, not to allow yourself to be stuck. And I think that's probably the best way to put it, is stuck. What's wrong with moving forward? Nothing can change what happened. Nothing can change how it affected you. Nothing can change how it still affects you. But moving forward should be key. Moving forward should be a goal. And as you see, if you're watching, I'm spinning my necklace with my son on it. That means it has become a response. When I start to get emotional without a real without being able to pinpoint the reason, that's when I grab onto my necklace. And I don't know if talking about all those places or talking about trying to move forward or I don't know. None of it changes how much you miss them. None of it changes None of it changes anything. And if you're someone who's been dealing with grief for a long time, you may understand when I say this. And someone who hasn't been dealing with it for a long time may not. But I'm tired of hurting, even though it's hurtful. I'm tired of the emotions, even though it's emotional. I miss my baby every single day. And I'm tired of trying to figure out how the hell I'm supposed to deal with it. But I'm trying to deal with it. And I hope this isn't discouraging, but even in the space that I am, I feel like to a certain extent I've had some healing. But it's not going to go away. It's not. And it's probably good for my viewers, my listeners to see and hear this, because I don't have it all together. I don't have all the answers. I'm just trying to live day by day and be the best me that I can be, because I know I was the best mom to my son. And I still have to be the best mom to my son till we're here. And still in this moment, I'm living through it. We have to. I saw on social media just earlier today a young lady who was dealing with different types of grief. She'd had some type of an accident where she was in a wheelchair, and so dealing with the loss of her mobility. And then something happened that a family member who was very close to her, I believe it was a family member that she had kind of raised like her own child, had passed away. And then she made a post the day after that said, "I'm sorry, y'all, I just couldn't do it anymore." And she took her own life. There's too much to still live for. There's too many people that still count on you. There's too many people that still count on me to roll over and die, literally or figuratively. So we have to live through it. I don't know where I am on my time for this week, but in everything that you do, be true to yourself and be mighty. We're here every other Friday, everywhere you listen to podcasts, and you can watch us on Spotify and YouTube. All I can say is live through it. We'll see you next time.
They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.